think you're royalty. You think that I'm afraid, but I don't break. I heard you question my stability. You think I'll fall just like a guillotine, but I am here to stay. Won't look away. The storm is coming, so you better start running. No, you can't control, feel it in my bones. I'm coming for the, coming for the. I'm coming for the throne. For the throne. So you wanna be my enemy? You should've known I'd never kiss the rain. Ice runs in my veins, won't play it safe. I don't belong with your nobility. Who died and made you king of anything? You think that I'm insane? It's your mistake. Kingdoms rise and fall. I've come to take it all. I'll take it. I've come to take it. Kingdoms rise and fall. I've come to take it all. So you better start running. No, you can't control, feel it in my bones. I'm coming for the, coming for the. I'm coming for the throne. For the throne.
Let's go. Yo, I'm like an addict, do I gotta have it. I ain't even playing, got a really bad habit. If it moves, gotta grab it, fuse like a magnet. Lose, won't have it till I'm doomed in a casket. I ain't playing, got a weird mind. If you work 8 hours, I'ma work 9. If the shit tastes sour, you should taste mine. I'ma stay in power for a long time. Get up, nah, I ain't a quitter. Toss me the ball, I'm a really big hitter. Big picture, I'm a straight killer. Rising the song to the highest bidder. Got juice, got gas, I'ma move fast. New shoes, new tracks, like who's that? I'm new, come back, better than last. Yeah, it's a new me, never gonna look back. Never gonna look back. Cause damn, I was built to last. You move slow and I move fast, and that's facts. Only I can make a change. Slowly take a step today. I will never be the same. Cause that's what it takes. I take shots to the top, I'll get it, I sacrifices is a form of art. I'm never gonna look back, cause damn, I was built to last. You move slow and I move fast, and that's facts. Only I can make a change, slowly take a step today. I will never be the same, cause that's what it takes.
All right, guys, happy Friday, October 18th. How y'all doing tonight? You survived another week. I'm going to go ahead and bring our other guest in here. We're going to try and get started and make this as quick of a live stream as we can tonight, maybe 60 to 90 minutes. Let's get the monkey tamer in here. Mediocre, what's going on?
What's going on? How are you,
Are you already at the movies? What is that I see there?
Hell yeah, baby, we're here. Me and the Lego people.
Are you watching for real?
Hell yeah. We're ready to watch piece by piece, baby.
Piece by piece. That's kind of on my list for the next week also. Let's see, tonight what I want to kind of run through is box office. I want to talk about the video that I put out today, the important updates to FTDs over on chartexchange.com. I want to maybe run through a quick TA update, see how good we did on calling the TA this week for GameStop and AMC, and then if we have time, I'd like to also briefly run through one ticker that reported earnings this week, Finger Motion, FNGR, just for fun because we've been watching that stock. I'm not trading it, staying far away from it. We've been watching that stock, and they just released their earnings, and you know, I tune in from time to time to the finger pumpers. And I'm hearing a lot of things that don't match up mediocre with what the company is telling us in the filings. Have you ever heard of that before? Pumpers not telling you what's in the filings?
Oh, God, every day.
I can't hear you.
It happens every day, Tony.
Do you guys hear him? Like his volume dropped for me about 90%.
You don't hear me?
Can y'all hear him as good as me?
Can you guys hear me?
That's a little better.
Here, let me see if I do this. Hang on.
That's getting better. It's getting stronger. While we're waiting for him to figure that out, I'm going to go ahead and pull up. Let's pull up this screen up here. Window, this one. Box office expectations for this weekend. According to Box Office Pro, Smile 2 is supposed to do 15. This was 2 days ago, so these numbers might have grown a little bit. 15 to 20 million for the weekend. Terrifier 3, 7 to 10 million. Wild Robot, 6 to 10 million. So if we go on the optimistic side, that's going to be our top three, around 40 million. So if we have a 50 million weekend this weekend, I would be happy with that. And then I want to put up the box office. Hang on, I don't know. Let me get rid of this also. No, we don't want to play that again. There we go. Restream changed their whole layout, Mediocre, and I'm having to
I
get used
noticed
to where everything's at.
you weren't
Uh,
showing anything but that screen, and I'm like, what the hell's going on here?
let's
I don't know if you're-
add a different screen. Stop screen sharing. And add this screen. The box office update. And also, I'm going to try and do something a little different tonight for people that are watching on replay. I'm going to put a little lower third down there so they can keep up as we're going through our topics. Maybe they don't want to watch the whole thing. So, Mediocre, we're at about 239 million as of yesterday, October 17th. So we're
Yeah.
17 days in. Let's say we get 50 million this weekend. You know, maybe Monday I'll be able to tell you guys we have 290.
Joker's leading the pack, Tony.
Let's see.
I think it is.
Joker is leading the pack with the Wild Robot hot on its heels.
Yeah.
And then on our calendar for this weekend, obviously, we have Smile 2 coming out. We got Goodrich, which I saw Adam Aaron tweeted about. I don't even know what that is. I don't typically watch the previews when I'm doing my estimates. I don't look at limited releases. Half the time, limited releases don't even show up in my city. So I know nothing about this movie, but I do like Michael Keaton, so I'll have to check on that one. I want to see Smile 2 this weekend for sure. And then I'm getting behind on other movies that I want to see. I want to watch the Saturday Night Live movie. And what else? What else is out right now? Domestic, Daily, Piece by Piece. Oh, yeah. I want to see that one. The Apprentice, we're boycotting that one, right, Mediocre?
Yeah, I'm not interested.
Not interested. I wanted to see Whitebird, but I got too busy, and it looks like they're already taking it away.
You want to know what I am interested in, Tony?
Yeah.
This piece by piece behind me. That's why I put this background in here, because I feel like people aren't going to see it, you know? So I figured maybe if we bring a little attention, like the preview of the movie looked great. I thought
It does. It does. Although I was showing the preview to my wife and she said, let me check again on Google and see who Pharrell Williams is. I was like, oh boy, this movie's not going to do well. My wife likes all types of music, and I would, assume that she know who Pharrell is. And nope. When she saw his picture with the hat, she's like, oh yeah, I remember him. Anyhow, what I wanted to say about that box office that we had up there, Mediocre, it looks pretty bad right now, but I've already, in my own estimate for the quarter, mapped out how I think this quarter is going to go for box office. And I already told everybody in the Discord and you guys that have been tuning in here, the first 4 to 6 weeks of this quarter are going to look pretty pathetic.
Yeah.
Because the big movies start hitting around November 15th, November 21st or so. And then it's just boom, 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 big movie after big movie. So personally, I'm not getting discouraged and everything is tracking on my spreadsheet. I have estimated around 2.4 billion for this quarter. And so far, by day, we're exactly on track for what I'm estimating. Although Joker is going to leave us a little light. We're going to need to make it up somewhere else. And speaking of making it up, Mediocre, I saw another tweet from, I think it was from Box Office Pro, about Red One with The Rock. They are estimating an opening domestic weekend for Red One of up to $40 million. And I had Red One at $40 million for its entire 6-week run.
My wife was telling me about Red One, and I think she was talking to you too. We were in the Discord. She was a fan of the trailer. She thought it would do good. She's pretty good at picking movies, but she's
That's the thing. Like Joker might miss, but then I've underestimated another one like Red One, so it typically all evens out in the wash by the end of
yeah,
the quarter.
the main point is at least we're keeping an eye on what their movies are doing, right? I
Yeah,
think that's what we
we will be coming here at least once a week, and if the numbers are back end loaded towards the end of the quarter, so we're not going to know how the quarter is going to actually be till we get close to the end of it. But if we start seeing things are really going to be off, we will tell you guys as soon as we know. But right now, I'm not worried, and I know that the bears and the haters and people that don't want the movie industry to do well are going to continue to say, like right now, oh, this is going to be a horrible quarter. They made that mistake in Q3 and it bit them in the ass because they're not watching and estimating every movie carefully like we do here.
go
So
see the
right
movie.
now I'm not worried.
Go to the movies, get some popcorn.
Go to some freaking movies. Yeah, last
Go,
night I
go see
wanted to
Piece
go
by Piece. It needs your help right now. I think
go help Pharrell out. His life is his life story basically, right? Mediocre.
that's what I hear. I mean, the trailer looked good, so I'm gonna take my nephew to go see it.
All right. The next thing that I want to talk about is the FTDs. So let me change this up on the bottom of the screen and change my screen share. Stop and then start. Did you watch this video yet that I put out, Mediocre, on the FTDs?
I did. I thought it was a good video. I appreciate it.
So, chart exchange. Well, wow, this when I have the banner up here, it kind of cuts us off. Maybe we can go to the side. How about that? Chartexchange.com is where a lot of people go to get certain data. And I like it because they have nice, clean charts. So I'm going to pull up Chewy because this is the one that I saw a lot of people asking about. We'll go to shorts. We'll go to the FTDs. And let me make this a little bit easier to read for those of you at home. You got a graph here of FTDs, and more importantly, you got the table. You guys have probably seen people post these. They talk about them on videos. They post them on Twitter. Two big changes this week. Thank you, chartexchange.com, for making these changes because, frankly, I see people asking about some of this stuff often. They added the date if there's 0 fails, Mediocre. It used to just not have the date. So like 9/19 would be missing. 9/18 would be missing because see, there's 0 fails. And people out there on social media, conspiracy minded as they are, would say they're hiding the data.
Yeah.
And even though if you go to the SEC website, the source of this data in the FAQ, it tells you if there were no fails, then that date is going to be empty. So that's why it would show up as missing on Chart Exchange because they're just they're scraping the data. And if there was nothing there, it didn't show up. Well, they modified their table now. So if there was no fails, instead of not having the date at all, they will show the date. They'll just tell you it was 0 fails that day. Now, I'm not telling you guys whether or not you must believe that it was 0 fails. I'm one of those guys that I tend to believe the data. I know there are some of you out there that don't want to believe it. We're not going to have that discussion. You can believe whatever you want to believe. All I'm going to point out is for those of us that actually use data supplied by the market, it was frustrating to see a table with missing dates and then have to answer questions to people why the date was missing. We know why the date was missing, because there were no fails.
Sparky,
This
I
makes
love
it,
the comment. That's funny.
huh?
Sparky made
Sparky.
me laugh because I read his comment.
Let's see what he says here.
I love it.
Let me pull up his chat. He says, "You mean the FTD screen where it shows the 9 million Chewy FTDs one day delivered the next day?" Yes. But with the videos with the screenshot edited to just show the fail date. Now, I'm going to be as fair as I can to these people, Sparky. And I'm going to tell you, if you pull up this table prior to today, when they made the next change we're going to talk about, if you pulled it up on your phone, the far right column does not show up on your phone. So if they were just doing a screenshot of their phone, maybe they weren't being intentionally deceptive. Maybe they just never knew themselves because they never scrolled over to see the FTD change column. Let's explain what we're talking about here.
Hold on, Tony, you tell me that
The second we talked about the first change that Chart Exchange made, they added the 0 dates. So every date is on there. If it's a 0, well, you just see a 0. The second change they made was this column right here, FTD change, used to be off to the far right. And the problem, as I was just trying to explain, if you were just doing a screenshot on your phone, you would never get that column. And so people's eyes going to what is visible, well, they'll say, oh, there's 9.4 million fails on Chewy on September 20th, and the T+35 date is October 25th. And if you didn't know that last column called FTD change existed off screen to the right, maybe you'd legitimately think that in 35 days they'll be delivered. Even though if you've been paying attention to any of us, you know that most fails don't wait 35 days to close. Most of them are being closed out rapidly. 35 is the deadline. But what I asked this week to Chart Exchange on Twitter, I was like, well, while y'all are making changes, can you please take that column from the far right and move it over? And to my surprise, within 24 hours, they did that and they sent me a note. And so now we have failures to deliver and the FTD change right next to each other. No more accidentally clipping it out. I'm going to just be generous and say everybody was doing it accidentally. Now you can see there were 9.4 million fails on 9/20, and they were closed on the 23rd. And then after that, there were 0 fails, 0 fails, 0 fails. And we ended the month with 4,700 fails on Chewy. The danger with this, if you want to understand how this data works, you should pay attention to when the FTDs are closed out, because what I saw people doing was posting this chart before this change today, and then they were going out and buying options for late October, assuming that 10 million Chewy shares, 9.4 million Chewy shares were going to have to be bought out in the open market in late October. And that is an expensive mistake if you don't know how to read this chart data, or you're following someone who doesn't know how to read it accidentally. Let's just assume they're all doing it accidentally. Those can be expensive mistakes. And I've talked about this from time to time over the last 3 years, but I mostly just get hate and death threats. How dare you educate people? Shut up, you shill. Who's paying you? Guys, this is just data that's out there. I'm trying to explain to you the data. If you don't like the data, don't blame me. Everyone in the market, except a couple of y'all, use this data the way that it's intended to. And for some reason, the people that count on this data for their daily narrative, they count on the misinformation of it. They get really mad when some of us try and explain the right way to use it. And the right way is to pay attention to the FTD change column. The right way to use this data is never to add up this column fails to deliver. You don't ever want to add these up.
But Tony,
there's one number. It's the last number. What's up, Mediocre?
Tony, I was told
the
data doesn't matter, Tony.
Mediocre, they give us false data, false narrative to make you make a bad trading decision. Yeah, we don't do that here, guys. We don't tell you the data is false. You want to listen to folks that tell you all the data is false, knock yourself out. How's that been working for you? That's all I'm going to say. If you're believing all the data is false and just winging it because you got it all figured out and you're being successful, you should start your own YouTube channel and post the receipts. That's what I'm going to say. Just to close the loop and move on from this topic, the Chewy data. So it is a legitimate question to ask, where did 9.4 million fails come from on one day? Because clearly that was, that's not normal. All I'm going to tell you, what was it, Mediocre? Was it Roaring Kitty in June buying 9 million shares? Did they fail to deliver them in September? That's what I saw out there on social media. This is obviously the shares that Roaring Kitty bought in June. They're just now failing 3 months later. Not likely. Not likely 90 days later. How about, Mediocre, could there have possibly been one other explanation that might have been more logical? What do you think?
Absolutely.
Do you know what it is?
I believe it was something to do with some sort of what is it? Somebody picked up some shares.
They dropped a prospectus the day before on the 19th. Yeah, they dropped a prospectus to sell more shares the day before. So I'm going to reject that they failed to deliver Roaring Kitty shares 90 days later and go with this probably had something to do with that prospectus that was dropped the day before. I mean, I look for logical answers first. I don't look for the most out of the world conspiracy answer. And if I find a logical answer, that's usually the correct one.
Well, did you go read that prospectus?
I mean, I read it back in September. And that's also why they were so easily closed the next day. People are like, well, why didn't we see the volume spike? The volume was like 18 million on one of these days, the 19th or the 20th. Everything here is easily explainable. The FTDs didn't change on the 23rd. You didn't see 9 million of volume on the 23rd because the trade happened probably on the 19th. They failed to deliver on T+1, the 20th. And the shares were delivered because someone just got them from the company. That's why you don't see the volume spiking on the 20th or 23rd. This is all, the trade happened on the 19th. That's how fails work, right? T+1, trade happens. You see the volume. The next day, you just trade money and trade shares. I don't got the shares. But if you can wait a couple days, I'm about to get 10 million from the company, 23rd. Here you go.
Yeah.
All in the background. You guys don't see that, but the report tells the story.
Gus says trading cards is where the money is, Tony.
Oh boy, Gus. All right. Let's move into GameStop. Let Let me get this screen share off here. Let's move into GameStop. Then we'll talk some TA and some trading cards. Stop screen sharing and let's close this down. Let's pull up the GameStop chart. Do you want to pull it up on your? You want to pull it up on your trade station? Do you want to try that?
Yeah, sure, I could do that. Get Gus's comment up there. It's funny. I like it. All right, I got GameStop up here. What do you want? What chart you want?
All right, let me get rid of this. Let me get rid of this comment and put up our caption GME. All right, Mediocre. I was told, Mediocre, that we are in a bullish pennant and you should be buy at any price right now. Can you kind of zoom in to maybe May through now and let's see, are we in a bullish pennant? Let's kind of minimize that RSI MACD for a minute.
Hold on, I'll turn them off. Give me 1 second. Let me go shut my studies off. It's the easiest way. Edit studies. There we go. Unhide that.
That's a lot of steps to turn something off. Usually, on mine, I can usually just click up in the upper left and hit the eyeball.
Well,
Are you on Trading View or Trade Station?
This is Thinkorswim.
Oh, Thinkorswim. Okay.
Yeah, it's old technology, but it works the best. There you go.
All right. Can you change it to logarithmic and turn off extended?
Oh, you're asking.
I know. I'm asking a lot. Very demanding tonight.
Let me go to my settings. Where's that at? Right here.
Gus says that's not a bullish pennant. That's a fixing to lose your ass pennant. Oh, Gus.
Where is it? Where is it? It's under equity.
You're not selling me on switching over to Thinkorswim.
Show extended hours.
This is a lot of work.
Okay. Here you go.
All right.
I'll have to go dig it. It's old technology. Let me spread it out a little bit for you. We'll just zoom in. What's the date?
From like May, late April to current day. That'll be our flagpole.
So we'll just go back to here.
Go a little bit more. Go a little more so we can see the whole flagpole.
All right, you want the whole deal.
There you go.
I'm gonna spread it because we don't really need that top, but I know what you're trying to show here, so let me get back to my little hand.
What it looks a little cleaner if you can show it on a weekly.
Want to know weekly? Now you're gonna have to let me get all set up again.
Sorry.
It's all right. No big deal.
VRO says he got into a car accident last night. Sorry to hear that. Hope you're all right. Tell us about what happened. Did anybody get hurt? Hopefully not. And how's your car? And how's the other person? All right,
Want me
mediocre.
to throw some lines?
Yeah, you can draw some lines on there. So we've got the flagpole starting down there at about $10, running up to 62. And then if you want to draw our flag from the top of that pole down to the current price of $21.22.
Want the flagpole?
I mean, where you had it was fine, mediocre.
All right, then good. Because I thought that's perfect for now. For our scenario here. And I already have my other line. See where my stock price is sitting at. It's been back since here. My red line, I'll change the colors for you.
Yeah, I'd like to see a line connecting. See that lowest green candle in the middle of the flag? I'd like to see a line connecting that to the pole. So you have a little bit of slope there. A pennant.
So you want
from the end of the flag sloping slightly down to the right, to the left, over back to the pole.
Let me get my tool here. So you don't like this one?
No, that one's good. That was fine.
All right, then let me get it this way. So you want to go
now on the bottom side, go from right where you were at. We're at the end of the pennant where you just were, the far right.
Oh, you want
I want you to draw a triangle from the.
I know what you want, but I already have the line right. Here. You don't need that one. I'll give it to you. Here you go. You want this from
touching the bottom of that triangle, sloping down all the way to the flagpole. The bottom of the green triangle.
I don't know what the fuck you're wanting, Tony.
All right.
Let me get my hand back. Right here. No, it's under your on tool. All right.
I'm gonna put my screen up for a second.
I already got my line here. That's what I'm trying to say.
I know, but you have a flat line, right?
Yeah.
So you want to?
You just want to? You want to draw a wedge,
kind of like this. Yes. So something like this, and then another one going. Let's say from here, touching the bottom of that. So we have our pennant, kind of like this.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Can you do that?
So, yeah, easily. I thought you wanted to make a which didn't make sense to me. Here.
So let's just say, guys, while he's drawing it, all right, I don't know why your chart looks so different than mine. Like, see how your red line is going all the way to the bottom, and then compare that to how it looks on Weeble. We got all the way down here, $10. Is it because I have mine on log and you have yours on linear?
Probably. Hang on a second. I want to adjust these anyways.
At any rate, let's just, while he's working on that, let's assume we have a bullish pennant. The problem is, guys, if you want to go with it's a bullish pennant, and I could make an argument that it is. A couple things that I think about on a bullish pennant. First of all, you want to see where is the top of that flagpole. It was debatably between, say, $40 and $65, depending if you want to count the top of a candle or the top of a wick. Once you start tracing back down 50% or lower on the flagpole, you're already invalidating a bullish pennant. And we're at $21. So if this continues down for another week, we're going to invalidate a bullish pennant. That's my first thought. I don't think yours is as clear to read, Mediocre, as this one. If this keeps going down, if these candles keep going down, we're going to invalidate a bullish pennant. The other thing is, I would never tell you as a trader, buy at all points in this pennant, because that is just not smart trading. You want to only buy after it breaks out and confirms the bullish pennant. In other words, if we have a breakout above this pennant, that might be interesting to me. Otherwise, what happens? You're just going to be chasing this thing down to God knows where. This pennant, you guys see the GameStop people. They keep on drawing their up and to the right, up and to the right, up and to the right, up and to, and they keep on lowering their line as the chart goes down because they don't know what the F they're doing. You don't know where this is going to stop. I certainly don't know where it's going to stop. So I'm not going to tell you to buy based on a bullish pennant unless you see a breakout above the pennant. That's the most risk-free way to trade it. You could do whatever you want. A lot of y'all like riskier trades than me, and maybe you will buy it all the way down. Maybe it'll end today. Maybe we get the breakout on Monday. I'd love to see that. Those are just my thoughts on this bullish pennant theory. I would wait. I'm going to wait and see if there's a breakout. I also, if we just forget about the bullish pennant discussion for a second, I really want to only be buying down in this demand zone. You can see my last two buys were at 1934 and 1950, and then I sold them on run-ups after that. Now, the DD that I gave you guys on Monday, I said if we look at the daily chart and the 50 EMA, which, gosh darn it, it's not on here right now. Indicators. Mediocre, go ahead and say a few words while I add my 50 EMA back on here.
Yeah, no problem. I just want to check my settings. It is on log.
Okay.
So you had me checking. I'm digging in there trying to find it. I'm like, I know it is. I thought you wanted me to draw a wedge. I'm like, okay. I thought you wanted a channel. And I'm like, I don't understand what you wanted me to do.
Yeah, that chart really just, it looks,
line because
I'm not sure why that chart looks so different.
It's just because I can spread it, and that's all. I mean, I don't know what you're looking at now on that chart, but
what I'm pulling up here now is just the regular daily chart on GameStop. So on Monday, I put out a TA video on GameStop, and I said on Monday, which was right here, Monday morning, that my expectation for this week is that we would run up to the 50 EMA and that it would act as resistance this week for GameStop. And that is exactly what happened. The 50 EMA is this golden line here. And Mediocre, I know that you agree with that, TA, because you and I talked about it over the weekend.
Mm-hmm. And it did that. Look at it, already started to reject off to 200, Tony.
Yep. And then down below that, acting as support, we have the 200.
Oh, what's your yellow line? That's not 200?
That's at 2060. That is this purple line. Now, we've got a couple of, we've got the 200 simple moving average way down here, the light purple, and then the dark purple. There's probably a better indicator that is acting as support, but because this one dropped below, and it went lower than it here. But just in generally, let's say the 200 EMA is very close to acting as a support level. So it will be interesting, Mediocre, to me to see what I talked about on Monday. What is going to happen when the 50 and the 200 come close to crossing? And that really speaks to that pennant decision point. Two things happen typically. You break to the upside or you break to the downside. I don't know which one it's going to be. A lot is going to depend on if GameStop has any news in the next week. But I see these two moving averages getting closer and closer. And if the 50 breaks under the 200, that is not going to be good.
That's what I was going to say, Tony. A catalyst, some sort of news to make the stock move that way, or it's just going to keep moving in the direction it's moving. That's what I see.
Yep.
You know, hopefully it can trade flat. I mean, all the moving averages could flatten out.
They could, right? I'm not predicting. I'm not, and I can't predict what's going to happen with certainty. What I can tell you is what I'm looking at, what I'm looking for, what I'm concerned about, and where I'd like to buy for the most risk-free entry. So just in general, if I forget about the moving averages, where I'd like to buy is down in this green zone. And I have been buying in this green zone and selling on the run-ups out of it. But as we get closer and closer to these two lines converging, if that happens, there's going to be something really interesting to the up or downside after that. I can't tell you which one.
I got support level, Tony, at 2069, and it's been respecting that level for some time. You know what I mean? So, I mean, it hasn't broke below it, but it's been touching it, and the highs are getting lower each time. So,
yeah, that's the other thing. If we zoom out Mediocre and we look at the highs and lows, the other thing that I talked about on my TA video last week or Monday is we have a high, we've got another high, we've got another high, lower highs. And then we have a low, two lower lows. And my concern is that we're on track possibly to set another lower low. Hopefully not. Hopefully it can flatten out here.
yeah, it could flatten out and ride this 2069 level. That's, you know, that's also a possibility instead of it really breaking in. It could break out the end of that pennant, you know, just out the tip and not really do anything, Tony, too, you know?
Yeah, if I'm looking at the weekly chart here, Mediocre, now on the weekly basis, we got a different situation with the 50 EMA almost acting as some support down here. You see that bold yellow line there?
Yeah,
so I mean,
yellow.
Depending on what story you want to tell, depending on what time frame you're looking at, and this is why I look at daily and weekly, because I'm not trying to day trade it. I'm looking at longer trends. Depending on what time frame you're looking at, you could see a lot of conflict in this chart, making it, I guess what I'm saying is, it very hard to say with certainty exactly what's going to happen. But I think, though, what's going to happen is going to be decided in this box, in this green box. Things are going to come together in that box, and then we're going to know, do we jet up out of it or do we crash down below it? Time frame for that to happen, I don't know. Look, I think I said a week ago it's going to be a couple weeks. So that still looks like we're on track. And GME could change that at any day with news. There's a lot of people on social media pumping options flow. That could change it. But my fear is, if you're buying a stock based on what other people are doing with options, you put yourself at risk of losing money if that is not sufficient to drive the price.
Are they getting close to their earnings call? Isn't that
their quarter ends at the end of this month, Mediocre?
Yeah.
So no, the earnings call is still 2 months away.
Yeah.
We're a long way away from news. So I'm just taking the cautious approach. Again, I don't hate GameStop. I've been buying GameStop twice in the past 2 months. have not bought any since I sold on September 24th. So I'm waiting. I'm waiting for a breakout above that pennant, or I'm waiting for some decision to be more clear to me in the demand zone there.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I mean, you need something to happen, and you need a move up above that and hold. That's got to hold that above there, you know, at least for a day. But it could happen. I mean, you never know. Like that stock just moves some days. It just moves up or moves down, you know. But as long as it respects that 2060 level, I mean, it looks good there for me, from what I see. But it could break below that, so I would be cautious in watching it.
The other, there's a couple overlays that I throw on top of a chart, mediocre. Like I think to myself, what is the proper valuation of the stock based on, Wall Street fundamental analysis? And we have that from Michael Pachter. I did a video where I showed you guys the numbers. Even if they have a fantastic year, I couldn't, on a normal PE ratio, I couldn't come up with any math using Finance 101 price to earnings ratios of a price over about $12. That's not my price target. I'm just saying that is probably the fair valuation of GameStop. It's being propped up by retail, and the shorts are hesitant to push it down that far because they don't know what the heck Ryan's going to do with $4.6 billion. So we're in the chess match from hell right now with two sides trying to see who blinks first.
I think that, in my opinion, like I wouldn't even have drawn that pennant. I just think it's just too much. Like you're trying to put too much time into, more relevant price action, which is today, right? So, you know, my pennant would be much smaller if I had my choice to draw my own. Like I would.
Do we want to talk about trading cards for a second, mediocre? Because besides option flow, the other thing that is news today, this week on GameStop, is that they are announced a partnership with PSA, where now you can drop off your cards at any GameStop outlet, and they will help you. They'll take photos and log them and put a sticker on them, and they will ship them off via FedEx to PSA for you, so you don't have to go to the post office. Now, instead of driving to the post office, you could drive to GameStop. The benefit, why? Okay, how is that a benefit to me? Like I could drive to the post office, or I could drive to GameStop. Tony, how does that help me? I'll tell you how it helps you. If you're sending through the post office or FedEx directly to PSA, you're going to pay a higher price to get that card graded. If you go to GameStop, you're going to pay $15.99 a card, which is very close to the bulk membership price of PSA if you were sending them 20 cards. So you could go to GameStop, drop off 2 cards for $15.99 each, and that's a significant savings. Because if you don't have 20 cards to send in yourself to PSA, it's like $25 per card. So that right there is, I think, a compelling reason to go. If you're interested in getting a card graded, that would make it worthwhile for a small time or new card trader to go to GameStop. And then if it might also for GameStop drive pro membership sales, because you get some discounts and some added benefits when the card comes back upon the valuation of that card. I think
So
it's
Tony,
15% extra value. Yes, sir.
so I did
Mediocre.
some
Go ahead.
research. Do you remember us talking about this card? This card
Yeah.
ended up being $40. So I thought about
Let me put it up on the screen so we can all see it.
that's Jerry Rice right there. So that ended up being like a $40 card there. But I got a bunch of them. But I got Joe Montana, or well, this is Dan Marino right here. So I don't know what this one's worth, but I'm sure it's worth something. And then I got me Joe Montana right here. So I thought about maybe getting these done and making a video on it. See how that goes.
Are you telling me you're a card trader in addition to being a gamer, Mediocre?
I don't play games or collect cards, Tony.
You just
Or
have
play
all the games, you've got the
Pokemon.
logo, and you've got the cards. That's amazing.
That's it's a figment of your imagination,
Yeah,
Tony. I don't.
please do that. I mean, I've
None of
seen a
it.
couple people do videos taking their cards in and logging their experience, and I'd love for you to do that too. I've also read about some on Reddit that did not go so well, but the video ones that I saw went very well. What I would say to you, if you're a small time card collector and you just got a couple cards, monetarily, it looks like dropping them off at GameStop is a better value for you. So the secondary thing though is based on my DD, and if you're in my Discord, you know what I mean by this. I spent days going around talking to trading card shops around, in my city and around the country. Also talking to people that own online trading card businesses. And my just general sense, and I haven't made a video about this because I don't want to be a turd in the punch bowl, Mediocre, but my general sense from talking to people is that the hype that is going on in the GameStop investor community is way overestimating the short-term impact of these trading cards to the next couple quarters revenue or profits. And in other words, the profit total is not anywhere close to what people are expecting. Now we'll find out in a couple months. They were already telling you last quarter it was going to be massive, and it wasn't. And now they're telling you, okay, this quarter, guys, it's going to be massive this quarter. Look, I love to see GameStop having different revenue sources, but I'm not expecting it to be massive. So therefore, for my own trading, as I'm buying GameStop, I'm not factoring anything in. I'm not going to overpay for GameStop based on what someone on YouTube is telling me, and their best guess is going to be a massive revenue or profit margin contribution. I will wait for GameStop to show me the numbers, or I'll wait for a price based on the chart that makes sense to me and gives me the most risk-free entry. The other thing that I don't hear people talking about in the GameStop community is the cost basis risk of carrying that card inventory. And this is what we heard over and over and over from talking to people in the business is when you're carrying a large inventory of cards like a GameStop, you're going to have some portion of those cards that turn over because they're popular. Mediocre, I know you're a businessman as well as myself who has dealt with inventory, as have I, in both corporate and my own businesses. What happens when inventory is not turning, Mediocre?
Well, you own it. You shelled out money for that inventory.
And eventually that inventory gets written down, and it's even worse in the trading card industry. If you're holding inventory that's not moving, the value of those cards is declining rapidly.
Absolutely. I mean, your money is tied up.
So GameStop's got to they've got to outperform on profit margin on what they are selling to compensate for the inventory cost basis they're going to lose on the cards that aren't selling. That's what I want you guys to keep in mind, that no one is talking about. They are just making assumptions that the entire inventory is turning on a daily basis.
I mean, even a manager would know that, right, Tony?
We've seen no evidence of that. This is just YouTubers yapping their mouths. I might have a different belief when GameStop shows me the numbers. But until then, I'm just going to say, be careful what you believe. And what's the word? Don't believe everything you hear. Wait wait until they show you the numbers, is if you want to have the most risk-free strategy. And if you want to speculate, then forget everything I just said and do whatever you want. Doesn't matter to me. I'm just telling you how I'm looking at it. Doesn't matter to me what you do.
I mean, I don't really trade GME too much, so it's rare that I even enter that stock. But you know, a business is a business. The fundamentals of businesses are the same. You know,
Who would have
No,
known,
but-
Mediocre, that 3 years ago when we started trading GameStop, that we'd be trading a trading card company instead of a gaming company?
well, that's the other problem I have with it. But you know, I don't want to really go down that road.
I don't really, owning a trading card company is not super exciting to me, but the industry is forecasted to grow. I think about a 18% annual growth rate. If the GameStop is able to get their teeth into that, now there's new competitors coming online every day, and there's entrenched players that have been doing this for decades. They've got to first get a bite of the apple, and then they need to somehow grow it. So that's not going to happen overnight. So be patient. Dirk says, wait till you see the white sheets of their eyes. I mean, the earnings statements. Yes. That would be the safest play. And, maybe if you want to gamble, the safest time to gamble would be right before earnings. If this thing keeps on if the price keeps getting ground down prior to the earnings date. All right, that's probably enough about GameStop. We talked about the pennant, we talked about the demand zone, we talked about trading cards and PSA, which I do think it's a cool thing that they're offering that. I just think that because there's not much else to talk about, people are way overblowing this. Same thing that the pumpers did with the AMC popcorn, Mediocre. Wild estimates, billions of dollars. You didn't hear that on this channel. You didn't hear nothing about billions of dollars of popcorn sales. And
I mean, I thought we would make money making popcorn than we are, but
whether it's GameStop or AMC, every little extra avenue they can do to bring in revenue and profits is good.
absolutely.
But you got to be grounded in reality.
But Tony, we make a small portion on bags of popcorn that are sold in Walmart. I mean, it's not a lot of money.
And Adam finally told us that when it is fully rolled out, that it's going to be the popcorn, $100 million revenue contributor. He didn't say profit. He said revenue. So a fraction of that will be profit. But even if it were 20 million, that's 20 million the company didn't have. So I'm not going to crap on popcorn revenue.
No, I'm not crapping on it. I'm just saying, like we had, and I say we because, I considered myself part of that group, right? That we all wanted the popcorn to make a lot of money. I did, and it is a lot of money, but it's not a lot of money when you're talking about $1 billion company. You know what I mean?
A multi-billion dollar company.
Right. They're making billions on movies, the industry itself. It's a drop in the bucket when you're trying to cover your bills with popcorn. It's just not something that's going to happen. It's great that we're making money, don't get me wrong.
Yep. All right, let's shift over to AMC and then we'll close up talking about Finger. What time is it? 8:44. I'm trying to potentially get a movie in tonight, a very late night screening. So I'm going to put up the AMC chart. What are you shaking your head at?
Gus, he's in chat being a jerk.
Gus is going at it in the chat. All right. I did a AMC TA video over the weekend, and I said that I expected it to trade mostly flat this weekend, and that I hoped that as we get closer to the earnings, which should be around the first week in November, that we would start pushing up out of this demand zone. And I don't know how high it's going to go. I know that's the question of the day, right? Is it going to go to $5, $6, $8? I'm not going to, I try not to give you guys price targets. I can guarantee you that where I think it's going to go is a lot lower than your number. That's all I'm going to say.
You guys want it to go high, go watch movies, go see this, Lego movie. Let's go. Come on.
Yeah, let's pump those numbers up, ladies and gentlemen. What I can tell you a couple things. My cost basis, you can see all my buys here. 464, 65, 37, 38, 420. Another one over here, 420, 419. I did not get in at 420. The lowest was 421. I got in at 420. There must be some wick that I got in really low here. If I change to the hourly, it got as low as 402. I did not get that low. My cheapest entry here recently was $4 and son of a bitch. I hate it when Weeble does this, and it's annoying to. Anyways, 419 looks like my lowest buy-in. What I said on the weekend is that I want, just like GameStop, I want to buy while we're in this green zone, and I want to sell into any push-up, and that the red zone is going to act as resistance. If we could break through the supply zone, that would be awesome. That's at about 540 to 560. We're a long way away from that right now. I think that it is going to be a surprise positive earnings beat when AMC announces their numbers. We will find out from Cinemark and IMAX at the end of this month if they have surprise beats or not. And then AMC will follow shortly after. And I will be live streaming the Cinemark and IMAX calls. So check the channel for that if you want to listen in at the end of this month. Basically, I guess, I'm happy, Mediocre. What I thought would happen on Sunday when I made the video happened. We found support down here and we're pushing back up. And Mediocre, you know what I always say? When the shills are crying, that's when I'm buying. And Mediocre, boy, these conspiracy theorists and haters, the Adam Aaron and AMC haters, the people that want all of us to fail, were in full force, nonstop tweets and social media posts over the last week. Did any of y'all see that? I saw it. And I remember them doing that back when AMC was trading under $3 as I was buying the crap out of it a couple months ago. And
Tony, was it my SpaceX launch video that sent us moving up or what?
It could have been. I hope you guys are watching the videos Mediocre is putting out, by the way. Mediocre Trader on YouTube. I remember all these haters saying the company was going to go bankrupt, reverse split, yada, 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 when it was trading under $3 just a few months ago, and then we ran to 12. Now, I'm not saying we're going to run from 4 to 12. I don't know what's going to happen. But when I see these coordinated social media attacks, either it's coordinated by somebody, which I don't believe, or they just can't help but get all up in their emotions. And every time I see that, just like using what I know about the psychology of traders, when these people are getting all up in their emotions, we've reached just about the point of peak despair. And that's when I want to buy.
Yeah,
I agree. You've reached full capitulation. The emotional crybabies cannot shut the fuck up. That's when I want to buy.
Put Gus's most recent comment up because it goes along with what we're talking about.
All right.
And it's true. I mean,
I'm not trying to be mean to the crybabies. I'm just saying y'all are part of my buy matrix. Like when I see y'all tweeting all your nonsense and Mediocre, I tell you this on Discord. I was like, I'm seeing this stuff. I'm fucking buying. Now,
But
the
that's the
company
thing,
could
Tony.
screw us, right? The company could screw us with a dilution announcement that we don't expect. I realize that. I can't control that. What I can control is what I see in the chart and what I see other traders doing. And I tell myself it doesn't make sense for them to dilute right here, right now, today,
Exactly.
because they've got plenty of cash, and I'm expecting them to add cash in the earnings.
And we're looking at this every day. We're not just winging it, right? Like, I like to joke around. I like to be a funny guy, but we're not winging it. You know, we're looking at every aspect of the play because we don't want to get burned. It's just that simple. There's no reason to get burned. And I'm not going to let myself get burned. It's just not going to happen. And I hope that you would protect your portfolio as well, but your decisions are your decisions, right? Like, I'll conversate with anybody about it. I don't really care. But as you can see, Gus says we can brag when we surround ourselves with reasonable people. Gus also said, we say we never pay more for a stock than its true value, what it's worth. We try not to.
Well, we
That's
made the mistake of doing that, and it didn't work out so well back in 2021, Mediocre.
Yeah, that is true.
And lessons were learned, and you should apply those lessons. So I'm
I mean,
very
back
focused on what is the true value and what are the risks. I don't ignore the risk, and I don't want you guys to ignore them either. I probably make you sick to death talking about the risks, but these are real things that we all talk about in the Discord on a daily basis.
but
The
Tony,
risks, there are risks. The balance sheet still needs to be fixed. Doesn't mean
absolutely.
I'm not bullish about the box office, or I am bullish that the company is going to make a surprise on earnings and free cash flow and operating
That's
cash flow, but
the box
they
office,
still need
yeah.
to fix the balance sheet. We're not out of the woods just yet. You got to still be smart in this trade.
Got to go to the movies.
Mediocre, your
So
mic keeps fading out for some reason. It's like,
is it because I moved it away?
I don't know.
I'm sorry.
Spider Claude says, Mediocre, since Tony won't tell us, can we see $12 on Wednesday?
Can we get real
You
questions?
don't have to answer that.
I'll answer it. No, it's not going to happen. How's that? If I'm wrong, come back here. When did you say Wednesday? What
Yeah.
was the
He said
come back
Wednesday.
here on Wednesday and I'll apologize because I was wrong. On Wednesday.
Cutting Edge says, if AMC runs, do you think GME will run with it? I've been lining up on my trading view chart the recent several weeks of AMC and GameStop. They almost freaking overlap. Maybe when we shift topics here in a minute, or maybe I'll do a video and show you guys, but over the last, I don't remember how many weeks, if I put AMC on the chart and then I pull up a compare to GameStop and then slide them over each other, they almost exactly overlap. Would one make the other one run? Possibly. We saw that in May. GameStop made AMC run. AMC only ran because GameStop was running in May. There was nothing special going on with AMC in May. So I don't know. If AMC has a surprise beat and it pops up, could that help out GameStop? Maybe. I don't know.
Tony, put Charismo's comment up. Charismo's.
Citadel wants to drown out Mediocre's mic. He's sounding too reasonable.
Oh, God. That's funny. I like it.
Spider says, what about Bank of America closing the stock loan accounts? I let other channels talk about that stuff. Look, there's certain things I look at to make my trading decisions, and what Bank of America is doing is not one of them. Mediocre, have you been following the Bank of America stuff? I know people are talking about it. I know who's talking about it. It's not something that
I don't even bring it up because I don't. I'm not. It doesn't affect what I'm doing. I'll just say that.
My trading on AMC and GameStop or almost any meme stock has to do with two things. What's going on with the chart and what's going on with the company's financials. That is it. Nothing else. One other thing. What's going on with the general economy?
And listen, I'm just going to tell you guys when we broke my support on AMC. What was it? Not last week, the week before. When we broke my support, I said to Tony and Rolf in our Discord, I said, we have got to figure out what is going on in this stock. Like what the fuck just happened? You know, it came out of the bottom of Tony's demand zone on the chart. It broke my support level, and I said, I need to go. You know, Tony, we all put our heads together. Like, are we missing something? And
that's when we broke down here under the demand zone, right?
Yeah, exactly. And we just went back through all the data we had, all the information we had. We looked farther out into the future on AMC.
I looked all the way through the end of next year, Mediocre.
I know.
Trying to figure out what we might have missed. That's how paranoid I am about risk.
And, you know, we came around to, you know, we might have a little bit of rocky time in Q1, maybe. We don't know yet. It's still early to see what movies come into that. You know, Q4 is going to be rocky right here in the beginning, which we're going through right now. That's why I'm telling you guys, go watch the Lego movie piece by piece. They could use some money. They're not doing as well as it should have done. What we had planned for it to do, number one, right? But and I'm not trying to pump this movie like I don't know a lot about it. I watched the trailer just like you. Other than that, the reason I'm having this conversation though is because when it broke that we didn't panic, we didn't freak out, we didn't trade with emotion. Nobody bailed.
We weren't crying on Twitter.
We just looked and went over the facts, and that's what we trade on. And
we went and hit the books, and we said, all right, what's going on with the movies for the next 14 months? Maybe we missed something. What's going on in the financials? What's going on in the debt documents? What could we possibly have missed? And we came up with a couple things. I'm not going to bore you guys or scare you with it because we bounced off of that level. So maybe crisis averted. Maybe it was just the shorts trying to push the price down to the point where it finally reached a support level. And now we're bouncing back off of it. So we'll see next week. Next week's a new week. I'll do a new TA video on Sunday with what I expect for next week. But in general, I think you guys know I'm expecting a push up in the price as we get closer to AMC's earnings date. That's my expectation. I can't guarantee you I'll be right. But I think people out there on Wall Street have spreadsheets far better than mine. And I think they're sandbagging it. And I think that they know that the company is going to beat. And I sure hope that I'm right and that they're wrong and that they are sandbagging it.
I'm pretty sure that's the case, Tony, to be honest. But how high will we run? I don't know. Right? I don't think about anything out of reason, right? Like I use support and resistance levels. So for it to break past Tony's supply zone, which you can see right there, could it? Absolutely it could. But am I expecting it to? I'm not expecting it to. If it happens, great. But we just play the game as it comes, you know?
It's a long game, right?
That's right.
Playing AMC is a long game because you got to get into 2025. You got to get into 2026 where the company is going to outperform based on the box office numbers that we know about, that the industry is telling us the profits are going to be there in the future. You got to get to that point. So until you get to that point, you got to be smart on your trades. And you got to be cognizant of the risk, which means pay attention to cash. Pay attention to cash burn. If there were any cash burn, that would be something that would concern me. I'm not forecasting a cash burn in Q3. I'm going to be watching it very closely in Q4. And if I see that there's a cash burn concern, if the numbers are coming in well below 2.4 billion, we'll have that conversation as we get to it. Right now I'm bullish on Q4.
Tony, what did piece by piece do in the first couple weeks?
It's at about 5 million right now.
Yeah.
And that, I mean, compared to a normal Lego movie, that is a huge underperform. But this is not a Lego movie that's been highly advertised to kids. It's a Pharrell movie that he wanted to do in a Lego format. So I don't know. I'm going to go watch it, and I hope you guys do too. And let me know what you think. But it's already not going to meet my expectations, and I had a very low number for this movie, piece by piece. Sufyan, the CPA in the house. Let me put up his comment here. I haven't even read it yet. I'd always like to hear from CPAs. They're way smarter than me. Sufyan says, I think as a GME investor and shareholder, I had a good intuition to be concerned on GME's decline in revenue and also closure on stores. On top of that, we've had some insider selling. Yeah, I forgot to mention that. We've had numerous insider selling at GameStop in the last week, which is something to just be aware of because no one's talking about it in the GameStop community. I told you guys after 2021, when we ignored it on AMC, we didn't ignore it, but we kind of like, oh, that's okay. Let them sell it. Doesn't really affect us. We got the shorts by the balls. That was the wrong attitude. And the GameStop people that I have heard talk about the insider selling, they're, oh, don't worry about it. It's nothing. Guys, you know, Sufyan, you know, if this was 3 AMC insiders selling last week, what would have happened? You'd have GameStop people having daily 5-hour AMC safe space calls. Oh, this is gross. Look at this. All the AMC insiders selling. This company's trash. They'd be nonstop. But when it's GameStop insiders selling, don't worry about it. It's nothing. They deserve it. They barely get paid anything. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to pay attention and then let the cards fall where they may. It's just one more thing that factors into my decision matrix. I'm not going to speculate why they're going to do it. I understand, and not going to pocket watch them if they're selling, but I'm not going to ignore it, and I'm not going to tell you guys to ignore it. At least you know about it if you're watching this channel, and then you can make your own choice. You can't say no one told you if some bad news comes out in the coming weeks or months. I don't know if that's why they're selling. What do I know? But they are selling, and they are unscheduled sales. So it is what it is. Sufyan says, that is kind of you. You know, your DD is, well, as sharp as a CPA. I don't know if I'm as sharp as a CPA, Sufyan, but I do my best. By the way, someone was asking me in my Discord, Tony, have you taken the Series 65 yet? I have not. I keep on getting distracted and sidetracked with YouTube and the stock trading and life in general. So I was hoping to go sit for my Series 65 exam by the middle of October. It is now the middle of October, and I haven't taken the test. In fact, I'm continuing to fall behind on my studying. So I'm going to have to push that date out, and I'll give you guys an update on video in the next week or so. But let's say I'd like to get it done before Thanksgiving now. I'm not doing this for any job interview. I'm not going to go work on Wall Street. There's no FINRA firm or broker that's sponsoring me. I'm doing this for myself. I'm doing this for you guys. I'm doing it to brush up on things that I took 30 years ago in college when I took accounting and finance and all this crap. And I'm taking it to learn, things that I didn't know. I never worked on Wall Street, so there's certainly things that I don't know. And just the process of studying for this exam has been so rewarding and like, gears clicking in. Oh, that's what that means. I hope, that my effort someday just doing this for fun will benefit not only my trading, but the information that I give you guys. And I'm sure I'm going to get some hell for it. There's always people.
Please try again.
My phone's talking to me. There's always people that want to shit on you when you're trying to become better educated and provide more value. I know that day's coming. They're sharpening their knives.
Hey, Tony.
Huh?
I try to learn new stuff every day.
They're sharpening their knives to come after me. They don't want you to have a fact-based YouTuber. But we're going to press on anyways.
Let's go. I encourage you all to learn something new every day. Even if it's this much in the market, right? If you're in this space and you're listening to this live stream right now, right? You could take a little time each day and learn a little bit about, markets in general and stuff like that. I do even today. I learn every day stuff I didn't know about, and I'm good with that. I don't come on here and portray that I know everything because I don't.
And I certainly do not either. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a CPA. I'm just a guy just like you guys that's been trading for many decades, and I try and apply logic instead of emotion to my trading. And I try and, although I entertain the idea of conspiracy theories, I don't use them as the basis of my trades. Does that make sense, Mediocre?
Yeah, I mean, and we just try to make smart trades so we don't have to worry about, who wants to be stressed out. I'm never stressed. I don't worry about it anymore. I just make my trades and that's it. Some people think that I take a lot of risk. They obviously don't understand the trades that I make because I take very little risk. I do a lot of research, things like that, because I'm not just going to put my money up to lose it. Like some of these people with call options and such.
Oh, we saw a guy this week that has lost probably close to 200,000 on GameStop call options that expired today. It hurts my heart to see stuff like that happen. What did he have, Mediocre? $20 calls? If we can believe his screenshots.
Yeah, it was something like that. $20 calls. But he didn't catch him out on a run up or something like that. He held them, and he basically got theta burnt.
Theta burn. You want to be the seller of a call. The guy who sold him those calls is now sitting on a fat $200,000 stack.
Yep.
I'm not telling you to sell calls. I'm just saying, in general, we prefer to be sellers of options than buyers. There are some risk associated with selling calls, like you could get your shares called away from you in a wild run up. That is one of the risks. But that's why you learn about options before you start trading them. Know what you're doing before you start trading them.
Understand them, learn what they are and how to use them properly, right? In certain search situations, we both buy calls at times. Tony made what did you make? 50%? No, 100%.
I made in May. I made 1,000% on AMC.
No, but you made 100% 2 weeks ago on the SPY when it dipped.
Oh yeah.
We're in the Discord.
Yeah, I don't trade the SPY every day, but when I see a good opportunity, I made 100% in.
Maybe it was 50%.
About an hour.
I just know you made money on it because we
Whatever it was.
when it happened. It was on SPY. I know what it was on, but the percentage doesn't really matter. The point was, if you understand options and what is most likely going to happen with the stock and the stock price, you could take advantage of it. That's all I'm trying to say, right? But to willy nilly purchase calls and puts, whatever it is, you're just asking to lose your money. Unless you have to understand, like, there's times to do it, right? Like, if you're hedging, like I'll give you an example. I was forced to buy puts to protect my position, um, so I didn't get margin called because I was holding a position that it was tight, and I wanted to protect my position, so I had to hedge my position. I don't like to always do that, but sometimes you have to put money up as a hedge to protect your money.
I
And
actually did that too myself, Mediocre. As we broke through this demand zone, I put a hedge on my AMC calls as insurance in case the price fell to $2.
right, you wrote that money off. You knew you were going to lose that money.
Right.
But if you went the other way, it protected you.
Right. I knew when I bought those puts that this was a hedge, insurance. If the price collapsed, I would make money on the puts that would offset my, I didn't want to sell my shares because I knew that it was likely to bounce, before earnings. If it collapsed, I had the insurance so I could sleep at night, and I didn't spend more on that than I was willing to lose. It was very cheap, short-term insurance.
Exactly.
And look, sometimes you own an asset, a car or a house, you spend money for insurance on it to protect it just in case shit. And it only helps you if you get in an accident or your house gets wiped out. Luckily for me, we ran up, and I have some call options, some bullish call options on the upside, which if we get the expected run up that I'm expecting in the next couple weeks, that very cheap hedging insurance that I bought a week ago will be an afterthought. I mean, it was already an afterthought as soon as I bought it, if you know what I mean. I knew, and I said in the Discord, if you're in my VIP, I said, I'm buying this. It will probably go to zero if we get a bounce. And that's okay. I want the insurance, and these were cheap. It was a cheap hedge.
Tony, you got a super chat you should put up there? There you go.
From Dustin, what's up, amigo? He says, a wise AMC influencer once said, if you're dumping into AMC, you're a dumb, diversify plays. Dumping into AMC. Finger was one of them. Looking forward to your thoughts. Maybe the balance sheet. Thank you for your time. Yeah, we're about to pivot and close out here talking about Finger. I don't know about the dumping in the AMC making you dumb. Diversification, I agree with. You should diversify, and I talked about that on a recent video. All of my meme stock plays, I was just looking at my entire portfolio, is right now under 6% of everything that I have at risk in different stocks. So I'm not 100% in GameStop or 100% in AMC. And I think if you're listening to someone that's telling you only buy GameStop and diversification is dumb, and there are YouTubers that will tell you that, you should run as fast as you can away from those people, because that is not smart trading. No one with common sense is going to tell you to put all of your money into one stock. You need to look and identify on that stock, though, if you want to buy it. When is the right time to buy it? When is it fundamentally undervalued versus overvalued? And although that's hard to do, it's easy to do on GameStop because we know how much interest income they're going to make. And we know roughly what they're going to make on earnings for the rest of the year. Go watch my GameStop video I did a week ago. I broke all those numbers down for you. AMC is tougher because they're not positive earnings yet. It's hard to value a company that doesn't have positive earnings. The balance sheet's upside down. It's a illiquid company. So the only thing we can do to say what is AMC potentially worth is make some leaps of faith, some best case guesses. What could it be worth in the future if the box office we expect hits? I can do that math. I've got the spreadsheet. I've done the math. I've done the math through 2026, exactly what AMC is going to be worth. So I know where my comfort level is buying it right now. And the only risk I need to worry about is some market crash that takes everything down, or the company diluting before I could figure out that they're about to dilute. It's always a risk, right? Well, the balance sheet needs to be fixed. That is a risk, which is why I want to forecast as accurately as I can if they're going to have positive earnings and positive cash flow or negative. That's what we try and do here.
Yes, sir.
At least since August of 2023. Which is why I got out of AMC again. I was buying it in February. I got out in March, right before earnings. And then, what was it, Mediocre? Like the next day they announced dilution?
Yeah, I was just going to bring that up because it still pisses me off to this day. It doesn't piss me off because that was a great call by you. I just wish that I was on board at that time. You and Rolf both made the decision, and good play on both of you guys. You both made a solid play. I had to do what I had to do to recover a little bit from the dilution, but it's all good.
Here is a great question from One Stop. He says, if the stock runs to 6, do you think they would probably dilute? All right. So when we went back and hit the books again last week, when we were crashing down through that demand zone, I came across something in the loan documents, and I want you guys to go fact check this yourself, please. Don't just trust what I'm saying. Go read the documents. There are hundreds of pages, but it's in there somewhere. If we kept crashing, I probably would have brought it up. But if you're in the Discord, you already know this, because I put the info out there. What I found is that there is a cash limit of $800 million, One Stop.
Mm-hmm.
That if AMC's cash exceeds $800 million, they need to turn over the excess to the lenders as a debt payment. Why is that important? If that's correct, please go fact check me. If that's correct, why is that important? Because they have $770 million right now.
Exactly.
Therefore, why would they go do an ATM to raise $250 more million if they're just going to have to hand it over to the lenders?
Not that they won't dilute. They don't. They're probably not likely to do so because of that reason. Because they can wait for a higher number, I think.
Yeah, I mean, then it comes down to, okay, once you know that information, what do you think about it? Yeah. Some of you are going to say, well, of course they would dilute if it ran up to $6 because then it's overvalued and they should sell shares and pay down the debt. Maybe they will. I don't know what's going to happen. I do think that the higher the price goes, the more likely they are to raise money. I don't know that I would be super worried about it at $6. What I'm more looking at, this is just me. I'm looking at what is their cash position and their cash burn. They have a certain number they want to keep on the balance sheet. And as long as they have enough working capital cash-wise, they don't need to raise an insane amount of cash because we're about to go into a positive next 2 years, box office-wise. Quarter to quarter, we need to watch it. What if Q4 doesn't meet our expectations? What if Q1 next quarter, what if it falls short? We know 2025 is going to be good, but what if Q1 is bad? What if they burn $250 million in Q1? I don't know. if they will, but they might want to raise cash. So we need to pay attention. We can't just say 2025 is going to be great. I think we leave ourselves open to exposure to them doing a cash raise if Q1 underperforms, because they know how much cash they want to keep. I don't know how much cash they want to keep, but I know I start getting worried about it if it starts dropping.
Right. And the other thing, Tony, right, that people need to realize is they only got like 140 million shares that they could dilute before they're at the.
That's a great point. They have limited shares left. So we think, this is just our guess, RDD. We think that they want to be very cautious about burning those shares.
Exactly.
Because it's going to get ugly if they use up all those shares.
That's right.
You guys know what I mean, right? If they sell through another 110 million shares, be it an ATM or debt for equity, we're out of shares. It's going to get ugly. I don't want to go there. So we'll have that conversation if and when that day comes, but we're not there. We're not even close to it yet.
Get your asses to the movies. We don't have to talk about this shit. For real, I'm not kidding.
I think, speaking of dilution, we're going to finish up talking about AMC. The thing that I expect to continue to happen is some more chipping away through debt for equity exchanges on that 10-12 pick toggle. That's what I expect. There will be some more of that over the next 6 months. And what's the other thing we said, Mediocre? If there were going to be an ATM, typically they announce them right after earnings.
Mm-hmm.
And we have our earnings coming up in 2 weeks. So that's going to be kind of your risk, your red alert zone. If we can make it past earnings a week and there's no dilution announcement, we made it. We made it at least another 90 days, but
I'm not expecting an ATM, no.
I'm not expecting it because I think they're going to bring in cash this quarter. If they don't bring in cash this quarter, we're going to need to have a quick powwow.
Yeah.
We're going to need to have a quick chat, because if they burn cash this quarter, that's going to completely throw my thesis out the window, and I'm going to have to reassess what I'm doing here.
Yep.
Mel says debt for equity is sort of like dilution. Yes, I mean, it is dilution. It's just not selling shares. And a lot of times they're doing those debt for equity swaps at a premium. Although that opportunity is eroding as the bond prices go up, which is good. The opportunity to exchange the debt for a premium for the company is that window's closing. It doesn't really matter. I mean, that's just a bonus if the company can buy the debt up cheap. The more important thing is they need to buy it up. They need to continue to fix the balance sheet. It's the main thing that any short is going to use against AMC. The balance sheet's upside down. It's the main reason that any institution would not buy AMC. You want to see the price go up. You want to see institutions becoming the biggest owners of AMC. That's when you'll know you're out of the woods. When we don't own the float. Why do we own the float? Because institutions are avoiding it. As soon as that balance sheet gets fixed and positive earnings are on the table and forecast, you're going to see institutions come in. We will not own the float, and that is a good thing.
Do we own the float, Tony?
I think we do own the float. Institutions are avoiding AMC, and why are they? Because the balance sheet's not repaired yet. And we're not out of the woods yet on earnings, but I think we're really close to turning the corner on that.
I hope we own the float. I don't know that we do, but it'd be nice if we did.
All right, let's shift. That's enough AMC talk. Let's shift and talk about finger motion. I don't own this stock. I don't recommend it. I have traded it a couple years ago. Let me put up the chart here. Mediocre, are you familiar with this company at all?
I've heard about it.
It's how could I summarize it? Cell phone, a cell phone minute company over in
Oh
China.
yeah, I didn't hear about that.
It had famously had a squeeze that got people really interested back in 2022. It went from 62 cents to $9. Beautiful. And then a lot of bag holders got created because what did they tell you? It's going to 1,000. like they do. And it crashed all the way back down. And it then ran up. It ran up again from $1 to what? $7. Beautiful. 600% run up. Who wouldn't love that? Great time to sell. This purple arrow right here is when Finger Motion, I think they hired that company that investigates naked shorts. Mediocre.
No, they didn't, did they?
Yeah. I'm tracking about 30 stocks that hired either West Christian or whatever that other company is. Share Intel. I'm tracking 30. These are all companies that hired Share Intel. And you can see I have Finger on this watch list. And that's what that purple arrow signifies. Look what happened after they hired Share Intel. Did that do a lick of good? They hired them at the peak and it's gone down 90%, 80% since they hired Share Intel. What a fucking joke. I have not seen really one shred of positivity for retail out of hiring Share Intel or West Christian. Pretty much without fail, every stock that jumped on board that bandwagon has only gone down since that time. But there are still people having daily live streams about Finger Motion. It's had some volatility, beautiful volatility trade if you are willing to go in and out of it. And to be fair, some of these YouTubers tell you to go in and out of it. That's good. That's good if they're telling you that. What I'm hearing them misstate to people, in my opinion, and I'm going to show you right now. We're going to go through very quickly the 10Q. They are telling you now is the time to accumulate Finger. There's zero risk of dilution, they say. If the company wanted to dilute, they already would have. They've had a S1 filed for a while, or 424B. True. They've had one filed for a while.
Did you check it on Dilution Tracker, Tony?
Yeah, we're going to go through that right now.
How did I know, Tony? How did I know?
I don't comment on Finger Motion very often, maybe once every 6 months. Because when I said back here in August, I said, be careful who you're listening to. It was trading Mediocre at $6. I had the whole fucking Finger army come after me. He's a shill. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He's an AMC pumper, even though I had just sold my AMC. They came after me. I was like, well, fine. We'll just play the patience game and see who's right. Since I put out that tweet in the community tab post, you're now down 80% on Finger. So who was right? All I'm trying to do is tell you what I'm seeing in the financial statements and give you my opinion on what is the most likely income. It doesn't mean outcome. Doesn't mean that I'll be right, but I don't say something that I'm not fairly confident of. And we've been exactly right over the last year on what would happen and did happen to Finger. They lie to you and tell you, Tony says they've only got 3% short. What he's not telling you is all the shorts that they're not reporting. Billions, trillions of them. Those naked shorts and Finger. All right. How'd that work out for you over the last year? Believing in that theory. They seem to have if there are nakeds, they seem to have the ability to print them at will, Mediocre.
Yeah.
I just go on this channel. You guys have been watching me for a long time. I only go by the reported short interest. Keeps me out of trouble. Who's going to eventually get in trouble? The people telling you don't believe the data. The people telling you that there's billions and trillions of unreported shorts. Those are the people putting their neck on the chopping block for the SEC because they're telling you things that have no basis in data or fact.
Tony, Gus wants to know, why do people refuse to see the facts/truth?
Because the Kool-Aid tastes so much sweeter than the medicine, Mediocre.
Oh, man.
That cherry Kool-Aid tastes damn good going down. The same people that are pumping Finger were pumping GTII, which is now trading. When I tweeted about Finger a year ago, I said these same people are lying to you about GTII. It dropped from, let's look at it. How bad is it? How bad is it, Tony? $8.97 to zero, Mediocre. Sorry, 0.06. Now, they told you I was the shill back in August. They told you don't listen to Tony.
Tony, what's that purple arrow?
That's when Share Intel was hired, Mediocre.
I knew that. I knew that, Tony. I'm sure the audience knew that too from the last fucking
now, I've had in the last year exactly zero people come and thank me or say you were right, and I don't expect them to. It's satisfaction enough to me just to be right. And like I said, I tell you guys these things to try and be of assistance, and hopefully over time you can sort out who's giving you good info and who's making you lose money.
Yeah, so let me say this, Tony, to the people watching the live. Like, we don't take pride in watching people
lose money.
Yeah, get hurt in their positions, right? Like, it sucks to see you guys, people that happen to people. I don't like to see that happen to people, and I know Tony doesn't either.
And we're also not part of the crew that laughs at them and makes fun of them. That makes me sick to my stomach. All of these people making fun of you on social media. I don't do that. I don't condone that. I don't agree with it. No one's going to learn if you're making fun of them.
And that's why we talk about it the way that we talk about it, right? Because we want, hopefully, you may not come around this live stream or next live stream, but who knows? You may just say, let me fact check and see if these guys are accurate or not. You just because we show it to you, you may not believe it. And I don't expect you to believe me. I would much rather you fact check me. And I know Tony would rather the same, right? So, hey, take what we say with a grain of salt, but what he's showing you is accurate.
All right, let's pull up dilution tracker and we'll run through the Finger financials and what I'm seeing. It's the same thing I've been seeing for a year on Finger. Let me pull this screen over.
Hi, Pam. Good to see you.
Pam, the trader, is in the house. What's up, Pam? Stop screen share and let's look at this one. And if you're not in Finger, please just stick around because you're going to kind of get an idea of how we do our DD on stocks. This is the history of dilution for Finger. I started looking at it back in August, maybe June, August, and they haven't really done dilution since then. But my concern back then was not that they had a dilution filing. They do now. My concern back then was that the financials are telling me there is going to be at some point a dilution filing, and we did get one. And that's this light blue line here. So the current outstanding float is 53.8 million. They have the ability now to dilute another 12 million shares, it says. So that would be 66 million. Not huge in terms of percentage. It says here the overall risk of dilution is medium, overall offering ability is high, overhead supply is medium, historically low dilution. You can kind of see that. Cash need high. Now, this is one of those services that I pay a lot of money for every month. Not all of this data is available if you're not paying for it. It also says the company has 1 month of cash left. I'm going to show you that. Meanwhile, the YouTubers covering this stock are telling you they're fine. This is an accumulate right now stock. Guys, if I see that a company has 1 month of cash left, that is a fucking red flag. I'm sorry. Sorry. This is not my opinion.
It's fact.
This is fact. 1 month of cash left based on a quarterly burn of 1.45 million and estimated current cash of $500,000. The other thing that Dilution Tracker shows us is every filing. So I can see all the warrants, the convertible notes, the ATMs, the shelf offering, the status of each one. I can log in on any day and see if they've been using that. This is a great tool.
Tony, go to the filings tab and show them the S1 when it was released at the top.
Oh, at the top.
Yeah, under filings. Right there, yep. So the S1 should be in there somewhere.
517.
There you
right
go.
here. So that's the prospectus. And to their credit, I mean, they've been hanging on, not diluting, hoping that they were going to report good numbers and that the stock price would run up. Doesn't change the fact, Mediocre, that they still need to dilute. And how do I know that? Well, we're going to look at the financials. Let me pull those over. And then I'm going to show you one key sentence in the 10Q, which if you've been following me on Twitter or the community tab, this is the company I was talking about in my little quiz. This is the one. So balance sheet for Finger Motion. Let's
Tony, what does balance sheet mean?
hang on. One of these numbers doesn't look right. They had more than I thought. Maybe I need to go to quarterly. Okay, here. This looks better. All right, Mediocre balance sheet. How much cash do they have, first of all? Look here in Q3 2023. They had $12 million in cash, Mediocre.
Mm-hmm.
The numbers they just reported this week, they're down to 800,000. They burned in less than 2 years almost all of their cash.
Mm-hmm.
That's a problem. Why are they burning cash? Let's just look at a couple of other things. Total current assets, mostly even. Total assets have increased a little bit. Current liabilities have gone up. They have now 15 million in accounts payable, where they had 1 million back then. Some CPAs might say that could be a red flag when your accounts payable is running up. I think their accounts receivable is going up too, which may or may not be a problem. I'm not a CPA. I'm not going to tell you it's a problem. Their income is going up, which we'll look at in a second. So maybe the accounts receivable going up is percentage wise in line with their revenue. I'm not throwing a red flag on their AR going up. But what I'm really just looking at is the burn in the cash. That's what I see on the balance sheet. Shareholders' equity is still positive. They have low total debt, which is good. They have positive working capital, which is good. So this isn't like a dumpster fire. However, there's a major cash burn situation going on here. That's what I see on the balance sheet.
Why are they burning so much cash, though, Tony?
All right. Now we're going to get into that question by looking at the income statement. Mediocre, their revenue is falling relative to 2022. Their operating income has never been positive. That's why their cash is burning. Never had a positive quarter, ever. This is what you guys want to buy for a short squeeze? Why do you think the shorts are in this stock? Mediocre? Any guesses?
Because they're not bringing in money.
They're not making money.
Yeah.
Exactly. Do you think the shorts are scared, Mediocre?
No, I don't.
No. There's no short scared of this chart. They're not making money and it's not getting better. We go down to net income, same situation.
Since we're talking about shorts real quick, Tony, let's tell the audience what we say. Like when the stock starts falling like that and we know it's being shorted, we say, why are they so willing to short? We want to know. And it makes you go and look and see what you can find.
When you see a high short interest or you hear someone saying there's high short interest, your first question I want you guys to ask yourself is not how fast can I throw my money into my broker to buy this? I want you to take a breath, take a beat, take a deep breath and ask yourself, what would Tony do? He would ask, why are the shorts screwing with this company? Once you understand that, then you can decide if you want to invest in this stock for a short squeeze.
Now, I don't short any stock, zero. I don't own a short account, any of that. You know, that's something totally different, but I'm not going to just throw my money into a play.
Nothing's getting better here, Mediocre.
Yeah. I mean, what can they do to bring up their revenue? They're obviously most likely going to dilute, right? Get some cash on the balance sheet. But what are they going to do from there, right? I need to see what are they going to do from there to grow revenue and make money.
Mediocre, they have 800,000 in cash. They've been losing 1.6 million for the last 2 quarters per quarter. How long do you think that 800,000 is going to last if this rate of losses on net income keeps up? It's going to last about 40 days. And they're going to be out of cash.
Yeah.
So we're going to move into looking at the 10Q in just a second and see what the company has to say. You don't have to listen to me. You don't have to believe me. You can go believe those guys that live stream this ticker every day, that this company's fine.
I don't know nothing about this ticker you guys up until now. So I'm just looking at.
But I want you to see what the company is telling you. Don't believe me. Don't believe anyone else. But you might want to believe what the company is saying. Maybe you don't. Maybe, like the guy told me on Twitter, I don't believe company filings because they lie. All right, then. Just roll the dice.
Isn't a company filing, isn't that given to the SEC? But this is a Chinese company, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, still, it's all we got, Mediocre.
Yeah.
Free cash flow has not been positive on this company since 2018. I don't see that changing either. Profit margins, operating margins, negative. Like, there's no shorts scared in this play. All right, let's pull up the company document and we'll close out this finger discussion. And again, if you want to bet on a finger short squeeze, then do what you want. I'm just providing information that is publicly available so that you guys at least have the full information. And then if you need a short squeeze, I'm going to cross my fingers and say a prayer for you, because I'm not in the stock. I'm not shorting it. I have no options on it. I don't care what happens, but I want you to have the right info.
We're
And then you can make up your mind on a educated basis.
Is there any going concerns on the?
That's exactly what so I want you guys on every company you're holding for more than a week or two to go to a 10Q and look up going concern. I already have it highlighted here. And I tweeted this out. I didn't throw this ticker under the bus. I just said, if I showed you this, would you be worried? What would you think? It says here, this is from the company to you. This is your report, the company report to shareholders. They say the company's continuation as a going concern, that means a profitable company that's not filing bankruptcy. The company's continuation as a going concern is dependent on its ability to obtain additional financing to fund operations, implement its business model, and ultimately attain profitable operations. So in order to fund operations, implement its model, and ultimately in the future get profitable, first they're telling you it is dependent on the ability to obtain more money, financing. The company will need to secure additional funds through various means, including tapping that old equity market, Mediocre. Including equity and debt financing. That means dilution. There's already a prospectus filed. We just showed you that. Could be debt. Maybe they go get some debt. Or any similar financing.
You don't have it up on the screen, though. They can.
No, I didn't know that. Sorry. Thank you.
I just want them to know you read it to them, but they didn't get to.
Yeah, sorry. This is, I searched up here in my browser for a going concern, and then it brought me right to note number 3. So that's what I want y'all to do on every 10Q. Unless you're, if you're investing in blue chip companies that have a long history of growing revenues and growing profits, you don't need to worry about this. But if you're investing in these speculative companies, which I do too, right along with you guys, but I'm telling you, I go look for this stuff because I want to know what is my risk. And the best way for me to know is, what is the company telling me? This is the company telling you. The company will need to secure additional funds, including equity and debt financing. There can be no assurance that the company will be able to obtain equity or debt financing if and when needed, on terms acceptable to the company, or at all. I'm not as worried about that because they already have the dilution prospectus filed. So they will be able to obtain equity financing. Might not be enough, depending on what happens to the share price. But let's keep going. We'll close up this with some closing thoughts in a second. Any additional equity or debt financing may involve substantial dilution to stockholders, restrictive covenants, or high interest costs. That would be if it was a debt. The company's long-term liquidity also depends on its ability to generate revenues and achieve profitability. So they're again telling you, we will only survive if we're able to get profitable. And if we can't get profitable soon, we're going to need to raise some money somehow, some way. And I just showed you on Dilution Tracker, they're telling you they've got 1 month of cash left. When we look at the balance sheet and the income statement, I'm estimating they have 40 days of cash left. There will be a dilution or a debt financing from Finger in the coming weeks, without a doubt. Without a doubt. So then I ask you, what happens to the share price when a dilution is announced.
Well, as soon as they announce it, Tony, it usually gets smacked.
Yep. Now, here recently, Mediocre, this stock has been dropping because Wall Street can read. Investors that know what all of this means can read. And once that 10Q came out, the stock has been tanking. It dropped from 230 down to 198 this week.
Yeah. I mean,
And
that 10Q would scare me too.
I think that it is reasonable to expect it's going to continue dropping. And then when the dilution announcement comes, you're going to get another 10, 15% drop.
Right. They already have the S1. So all they have to do is drop the announcement that they're going to, get however many shares they think they need to bring the money in. And then once that drops, the stock is going to drop more.
Matt says, wasn't Fingers supposed to be swimming in cash from their Chinese deal? So they do have a deal with the Chinese government to do some installs. And, Matt, since you brought that up, I wasn't going to go there. But since you brought it up, let's just share that screen and talk about that for 1 second. And then I don't want to beat this horse to death. What was that called there? Command and control. Let's do a search for command. I think I highlighted it when I was reading through this 10Q just for fun.
Just for the audience, I know nothing about any of this. I didn't even see Tony's DD here that he's sharing with you, just so you know. Like, this is I know not, I'm just learning about this as we go through this, just like the audience is. So
all right. So in the management notes on the financial statements, there is this key note here. And yeah, George Washington should have told you guys about this. These YouTubers should be freaking reading this stuff and telling it to you, but they don't. Why? This explains everything. It says that as of August, we had cash of, I'm going to speed read this and just pick out the important part, but it's on the screen. You can read it. You can go back and watch it later. You can look up the 10Q, fact check me. As of August, we had cash of 800,000 as compared to 1.5 million in February. Our mobile business model necessitates periodic fund deposits with our telecommunication companies to obtain access to the data and talk time we make available to customers. Additionally, our expansion into the cloud business, which features a longer collection cycle, that is that huge increase we saw on accounts receivable. That expansion into the cloud business has led to an increase in accounts receivable. I know this is here because I read through the 10Q. When I saw that AR number soaring, the very first thing I did was not just tell people on a live stream, don't worry about it. I went to the 10Q to see what management had said, because when that thing happens, management is going to tell you in the notes why it's happening. This is why it's important for you guys to read the 10Q. And not just look at a summary, but look at the management notes. They're telling you why everything is happening right here. As they've expanded into the cloud business, it has led to an increase in accounts receivable because it has a longer collection cycle. Okay, maybe that's true. That's fine. I'm not going to complain about that. But it does present a greater strain on the company's liquidity. To manage the operations effectively, they've had to carefully monitor and manage cash flows. Good. That's the right thing to do. We believe that our cash on hand and cash equivalents, along with our Revenues will fund our core operations and repay our debt for at least the next 12 months. So, based on what they're saying, that is why there's no going concern warning, no substantial doubt warning. Anya, you were asking me about that earlier. There is your answer. They believe that they have enough between cash on hand and revenue to repay their indebtedness. How could they get out of this without doing a dilution? Let's do a rainbow scenario. They could collect on 21 million in accounts receivable. That would be a solution. If they are able to collect on that accounts receivable, that's $21 million. They won't need to dilute, and I will be incorrect. There will not be a dilution. But if they're having problems collecting, what are they going to do? They're not going to file Chapter 11. They're going to go raise some money. So we'll see, and I wish them luck. Go collect that AR. Go hit up your clients and tell them to pay up. But it says, however, we anticipate the need for additional capital to, oh, fuck. Tony, you just told me the rainbow story, and now here's management rug pulling what you just said. You said that if they collect the accounts receivable, they'd be fine, maybe. What are they telling us? We anticipate need for additional capital to support the rollout of our command and communication business. That's that big contract with the Chinese government. Well, shit. Now what? As well as for more continued growth, plus increasing our deposits with telecommunication entities. So in order to grow the business, even if they collect on the, oh, you know why that accounts receivable is not the big help that I thought it'd be, because they have another 16 million in accounts payable. Well, bye-bye to that money. To support all of these, we intend to continue to seek additional capital through public or private sales of equity or debt or both. Again, a second warning that's telling you right here, hey, you know about that big contract that George Washington told you about? They're going to need additional capital to support that rollout. And they're going to get it from public or private sales of equity or debt securities. All right, I'm back.
Tony, what does that mean?
I'm back to saying mediocre. There's a dilution coming.
Hold on, Tony.
They're going to tap that equity market. Is that what you want me to say?
Yeah, they use different words this time. Tony, you got to understand the lingo, right? But Tony, also, I just want you to know, you can't believe any of this bullshit. It came from the company.
Can't believe what these companies say, mediocre. Yes, you should believe this, guys. You should believe this more than what anyone on YouTube says. This is under the penalty of law with the SEC and the company's required disclosure to you. You should absolutely believe it. And then if you don't want to believe it, cross your fingers, stick your head between your knees, and pray to the God of your choice that they are incorrect or they're too pessimistic. That's what I think. All right. That's kind of the rundown we do on all of these speculative companies. We look at dilution tracker, we look at the financial statements, we see where the problem areas are, and we go then to the 10 Qs and look for breadcrumbs to explain the problem areas. How do you know what the problem areas are on a financial statement? You probably don't unless you've taken a finance class, taken an accounting class, know a CPA who can help you, or tune into a channel like this where we go through them and explain to you what the gotchas are. I can pick this stuff out pretty quickly.
Join the Discord where you can talk to us. We're willing to talk directly to you guys in the Discord. I never see anybody in the voice chats.
They message me a lot or leave me notes in the Discord, mediocre. I know a lot of people have day jobs and you can't be in the voice chat. That's fine.
No, that's okay. I mean, it just, it'd be nice to have conversations with them.
Yeah, Mediocre and I talk all day in voice chat. Y'all are welcome to stop in. Just pop in. If we're not in there, we'll see you and we'll come in and chat.
Mhm.
Gus says it's not bend over and put your head between your knees. He said it's grab your ankles and bend over, kiss your ass goodbye. Now I hope I'm wrong on finger that they're not going to tank and they're not going to dilute. I hope I'm wrong, but I don't think I'm wrong. And I've been telling you that the price was going to get trashed since August of 2023. Predicted the demise of GTII. I predicted the demise of Bed Bath & Beyond. I predicted the demise of BBIG. I said a year ago that GameStop would touch $10. It did. And then, Boring Kitty came to the rescue. Thank God. So I don't think we're going back to $10 on GameStop, but we did touch $10. I predicted that a year in advance. A lot of these things, people hate me, but it's because they're not patient enough to let the financials play out.
That's one thing we do a lot. Now, we let the financials play out. Like Finger, for example. I don't know this to that it's going to happen, but usually after dilution happens, like this is what I did with JetBlue and why I entered in JetBlue. After a dilution, usually the stock price recovers a small
That might be a
percent.
good time to buy Mediocre.
Exact,
After the
exactly.
dilution, they're flush with cash. They're gonna roll out that contract with the Chinese government. People are gonna be
Right.
excited. They're gonna start talking about it, putting out press releases. Hey, we
Right.
just installed thousands of these. You
But
know,
that's why I brought it up, Tony, because I don't want people to think they're like, "Oh, we hate this company." Like I
no,
don't know this company.
we're looking for the best timing, and like the timing is
Right.
not saying it's great based on what I'm reading. There might be a point where I change my mind, but after the dilution would be the most logical time to want to look at this stock. And it really pissed me off this week when I was eavesdropping in on a live stream where they're saying, "Oh yeah, accumulate the fuck out of this right now. So it's a fine time to buy." Not from what I'm seeing. Maybe I'll be wrong. All right. Mediocre, I think we're going to wrap it up
Perfect.
after that fun chat. Hopefully you guys learned something. Again, I don't hate any of the companies that we talked about tonight. I just want to provide you guys a unemotional, non-pumper take on these stocks, and we'll let time sort out who is giving you correct information and who is not. I don't care about all the hate and the death threats and the doxing and all that, because I try not to say stuff if I don't believe that ultimately I'm going to be right. They can say whatever they want in the short term. They have not been correct for the last year. Mediocre, you got any closing thoughts for us?
Yeah, I was gonna say, Tony, when we switched gears, and really started to change the way we were trading these stocks, right? I mean, I personally didn't want to come out and talk about it because there was so much hatred at the time. It was crazy, right? And people didn't want the help. They didn't want the information. I hope that the tables are turning a little bit and people are willing to listen to at least, you know, go fact check what we say. You don't have to
They
believe me.
think that we're against them or against the companies, which could
I don't want them to think
furthest
that.
from the truth.
Right.
We are trying to be advocates for you guys, protecting your capital and getting good entries. Just, you can like the company, just be smart about when you get in.
Hmm. I don't know. That's all I got, Tony. Go check out my YouTube channel, Mediocre Trader.
Let's help get
Join
this gentleman. He puts in a lot of work for you guys too. Let's get him up to what do you need? 1,500 subs? 500, 1,000?
I need
Do you know how
1,000.
many you need?
I only need 700, but to get there.
Share his videos, watch his videos, leave a comment, help him out on the algo. You know, I'd appreciate you doing the same for me.
Yeah, Tony and I want to do some special stuff for the members, the viewers of the channel on the back. I think that's one of the main reasons why we're trying to do this.
And we got some more parties coming up too, scheduled. Some more party live streams. we had so much fun on the box office celebration party. There are more to come, guys.
And comedy is fun, people. Don't take everything so serious. God.
We have a lot of fun. I know I sound serious and I sound like an asshole and everybody hates me. We sit here and crack each other up all day. Some of this financial stuff, when people are losing money, it is serious. But you can still have fun, and we have a lot of fun throughout the day. I enjoy doing some of those fun live streams so you can see the real us. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, go back and watch when was that, Mediocre? October 2nd that we did that.
I don't
The
remember
box
the
office
date.
celebration.
It was fun as shit.
Go back and watch my bingo video with Alex, where she falls out of the chair. We've had some fun times. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. We will have more fun times ahead. There's been a lot of crazy day trades going on this week. I know you guys, some of you have been playing them. DJT's been all over the place. Drug, DRUG ticker, ran up from what, $1 to like $79. I played a couple of other pre-market trades this week. Mediocre. If these pre-market tickers keep popping like this, I might start doing 3 a.m. live streams where we watch and trade them.
Are we going, Tony?
We're going to the moon. Yeah. I'm here every morning watching these, playing some of them if I catch them in time. And if we get back in the cycle where these things are running every day, even if it's different tickers, I will start doing some live streams. But I got to be conscious of my time, and it's hard to do an all-day live stream or even an all-morning live stream, and on top of that, be effective with your trading. But I enjoy doing that, and I miss hanging out with you guys on the live streams during the day. Right now, we're just trying to get work out, providing you educational stuff and updates as frequently as we can, and then these evening live streams where you can ask us questions. And if you're watching on replay, thank you, and I hope you found it useful and valuable. And there will be more.
We like that fun, guys. It's all about having fun, doing our deals, making our stuff right, and talking to you guys, and hopefully helping you guys at the same time.
We've got one late night showing left of Smile 2, and I'm going to try and go get that in tonight at 11 p.m. So I got to go make sure Scarlett is awake and go take her a cold silver bullet. Coors Light is what I don't know if she bought herself something else, but that's what I got. So we're going to get our pregame on and go watch Smile 2. Check out my review on Twitter or the community tab for Terrifier 3. Funny, gory movie. Hope you guys enjoyed that one. Leave me your thoughts in the comments. And please, if you haven't watched my videos that I put out this week on FTDs or the TA videos that I put out Sunday and Monday last week, give me a watch. I'd appreciate it. You guys supporting this channel are the most important ones, because if you're subbed to this channel and you watch those videos, that is the most important thing for YouTube to see. Then the algo says, oh, if his subs are watching it, we're going to tell more people about this channel. If y'all aren't watching my videos, live streams don't really count. If you're not watching my videos, then this channel is not going to grow. So I thank you in advance for
Yes.
spending 5 minutes of your time watching those. It does help. It does truly help the channel grow. And leave a comment. All right, ladies and germs. Mediocre, thank you for your time. We'll chat with
Thank
you tomorrow.
sir.
I know you're planning on going to see the Lego movie. I'm going to try and get that one in the next week. But first on my list is Smile 2. So let me find the outro music. Where is that outro music? Here we go. Guys, have a good night. We'll talk to you over the weekend. I will be around.
Ciao.
Let's go. Yo, I'm like an addict, ooh, I gotta have it. I ain't even playing, got a really bad habit. If it moves, gotta grab it. Fuse like a magnet, lose, won't have it till I'm doomed in a casket. I ain't playing, got a weird mind. If you work 8 hours, I'ma work 9. If the shit tastes sour, you should taste mine. I'ma stay in power for a long time. Get up, nah, I ain't a quitter. Toss me the ball, I'm a really big hitter. Big picture, I'm a straight killer. Rising the song to the highest bidder. Got juice, got gas, I'ma move fast. New shoes, new tracks, like who's that? I'm new, come back, better than last. Yeah, it's a new me, never gonna look back. Never gonna look back. Cause damn, I was built to last. You move slow and I move fast, and that's facts. Only I can make a change slowly.